Start with tense music and a doorbell camera view of two kids being led to a white van. My twins were playing in the front yard. 5 minutes later, they vanished. No noise, no warning, just gone. Cut to flashing police lights. A woman in a blazer smirks. Asterisk, the HOA president said she detained them for violation. But what she didn't know. Sound effect, badge snap open. I'm a federal judge, and she just committed kidnapping on camera. Welcome to my channel. Now story. They're gone. My kids are gone. The words escaped my mouth before I even knew I was speaking. It was like my brain couldn't catch up with the panic exploding in my chest. My hands went numb. The tray of sandwiches I was holding slipped and crashed to the ground. Plate shattering, juice spilling, but I didn't care. Because my front yard was empty. It was supposed to be just another quiet Saturday morning. The sun was warm, the birds were chirping, and my 7-year-old twins, Lily and James, were doing what they always did, playing outside with their soccer ball, right there on our neatly trimmed lawn. I had just gone in for a few minutes. 5, maybe 6 tops. I made their favorite, grilled cheese, apple slices, and a little cup of chocolate milk each. I even cut the sandwiches into stars like I always do. But when I stepped outside with the tray, expecting to see them laughing, chasing the ball barefoot across the grass, there was nothing. No giggles, no toys, no shoes, just silence. I froze. My eyes darted across the street, to the left, to the right. Maybe they'd chased the ball into a neighbor's yard. Maybe they were hiding behind a bush or up to one of their silly pranks. Lily, I called out. James! No answer. I jogged to the sidewalk, scanning both ends of the block. That's when I saw it. A white van pulling away from the cul-de-sac at the far end of our street. It was plain. No windows in the back. No logos. It was the kind of van every parent dreads seeing when their kids are missing. My heart slammed against my ribs. I ran, barefoot, still clutching one of the half-soggy sandwich halves, down the sidewalk and straight to the closest house. Mr. Henderson's place. He was always out on his porch in the mornings, sipping tea and reading the paper. I banged on his door, desperate. Did you see anything? My kids, Lily and James. Did they come this way? The old man blinked, startled, and stepped outside. Oh, the twins? Yeah, I saw them. A woman from the HOA, blonde, business suit, was talking to them. They seemed fine. Then she walked them to that van. I thought it was official HOA stuff or maybe a weekend event. You didn't know? I stared at him. Official? That word, it set off every alarm bell in my mind. I'm a federal judge. I know what official looks like. And nothing about some middle-aged woman driving off with 2 children without so much as a phone call screams procedure. I didn't say anything to Mr. Henderson. I just turned and ran, my feet slapping the pavement, my breath ragged, lungs burning, pulse pounding in my ears, straight toward the HOA clubhouse. My babies were in danger, and someone was about to find out exactly what happens when you mess with the wrong mother. I bolted to the HOA office, lungs burning, legs aching, adrenaline flooding my system. I don't even remember grabbing my car keys, just the blur of houses and yards as I sprinted like a mother possessed. When I reached the building, the door was locked. I didn't hesitate. I pounded on it with both fists, again and again, hard enough to make the glass rattle in its frame. I didn't care who I disturbed. Let the whole neighborhood hear me. Let the entire city hear me. A full 30 seconds later, the door creaked open. Standing there was a woman in her mid-40s. She wore oversized designer sunglasses, a pencil skirt, and a blazer 2 sizes too tight for her self-importance. Her smile was artificial, too white, too wide, and her gaze swept over me like I was something stuck to the bottom of her expensive shoes. "Can I help you?" she said, her voice slow and syrupy, like she was enjoying every second of my panic. I stepped forward, not even trying to hide the fury in my eyes. "I'm looking for my children. 2 blonde kids, 7 years old. You were seen with them. Where are they?" She sighed, an actual dramatic sigh, and then, as if reading from a script, began, "Ma'am, we had to take appropriate action. Your children were wandering the neighborhood unsupervised. HOA safety protocols clearly state that in such cases, we are permitted to detain minors in a secure location until a verified guardian can be identified." My jaw dropped. You what? You detained them. She nodded. They're currently in the custody of HOA Child Services. They're safe, resting comfortably. But you'll need to fill out the necessary paperwork and attend a disciplinary hearing on Monday morning to formally regain access. A disciplinary hearing. Paperwork. Regain access. She was talking about my own children like they were borrowed library books. I took a shaky step forward. You kidnapped them. Her smirk didn't budge. Oh, please. Don't be dramatic. You left them outside without supervision. That's considered neglect in many communities. We've already filed a neighborhood behavioral report indicating concern for their welfare. The record shows you've refused to comply with HOA standards on several occasions. You've even been flagged for emotional volatility. I blinked. She had just weaponized a fabricated report against me. I'm calling the police, I said, my voice razor sharp. She didn't even flinch. She actually laughed. Oh, please do. I'd love to see how this plays out in court. Unstable mother versus the HOA's child protection policy. It'll be interesting to see who the judge believes. And that's when I took a breath, reached into my purse, and pulled out my black leather ID case. I flipped it open and let it catch the light just right. Her smirk vanished. Federal District Court Judge Evelyn Cross. And you, ma'am, just made the biggest mistake of your life. Her sunglasses slipped slightly down her nose. And for the first time since this nightmare began, she looked scared. I reached into my purse with slow, deliberate calm. The kind of calm I use in court when someone's about to hang themselves with their own arrogance. I pulled out my black leather badge wallet and flipped it open so she could see the golden seal, the federal emblem gleaming in the morning light. Her smirk evaporated like mist under a blowtorch. Federal District Court Judge, I said, my voice ice cold. My name is Judge Evelyn Cross. I paused, just long enough to let those words settle like a gavel strike. And you, ma'am, just violated multiple federal statutes, starting with kidnapping minors. Her face turned pale. All that smug superiority drained out of her in seconds. She staggered back a step like I'd slapped her across the face. I didn't know, she stammered, eyes wide now, lips trembling. I didn't realize you were. Oh, you will realize, I interrupted, because what you just did wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a deliberate abuse of power under the false pretense of community authority. You unlawfully detained 2 minors, impersonated Child Protective Services, obstructed parental rights, and tampered with their well-being. Her mouth opened, then closed again. Her hands began to tremble. I didn't waste another second. I pulled out my phone and called the police. Right in front of her. No hiding. No drama. Just a calm, clear report. Yes, this is Judge Evelyn Cross. I'm reporting an incident of unlawful detainment of minors, impersonation of public authority, and attempted child abduction. The suspects are currently at the HOA clubhouse. I am with them now. I have visual confirmation of both children. They appear unharmed. While I spoke, she fumbled with a key and tried to unlock the clubhouse door. Like returning my kids now would erase everything she'd done. I pushed past her and stormed inside. And there they were, Lily and James, sitting quietly on a bench in the back room, sipping juice boxes and looking confused but safe. Their little shoes were off, and a coloring book was on the table beside them. It looked innocent, like a daycare field trip, but I knew better. Their faces lit up when they saw me. Mommy, I dropped to my knees, arms wide, and they ran into me like they hadn't seen me in years. I held them tighter than I ever had before. They weren't hurt, but I was, because I knew the emotional damage, the fear, the confusion they'd carry from this day would leave a scar far deeper than any scraped knee. I turned and looked at the woman, now pale, sweating, and completely silent. You may have fooled the neighborhood, I said, but you forgot the most important rule of power. I stood tall, holding my kids by the hand. You don't get to make the rules when you're standing in front of the judge who does. The police arrived within minutes. 2 patrol cars, lights flashing, sirens silenced, pulling into the HOA parking lot like judgment had arrived. The HOA president, now suddenly panicked, rushed out to meet them. Her heels clicked furiously on the pavement. She adjusted her blazer and slapped on a forced smile like she could charm her way out of what she had done. She left her children outside, she exclaimed, her voice just loud enough for nearby neighbors to hear. We were acting in the children's best interest, protecting them from neglect. She looked around as if expecting applause, but instead, the officers turned to me. Ma'am, are you the children's mother? I'm Judge Evelyn Cross, I said, once again showing my credentials. And yes, I never gave consent for anyone to remove my children from our property. The lead officer nodded. We've already had 3 calls from neighbors. Something's not adding up. One by one, people stepped forward. Mr. Henderson, a family across the street, even a teenager on his bike. Each of them gave the same story. The children were playing peacefully. The woman from the HOA approached them, offered them juice and cookies, and convinced them to follow her to the van. That might have worked if we didn't live in a neighborhood where everyone had doorbell cameras. We pulled the footage right from my porch. There she was, kneeling down, grinning at my kids like a camp counselor, whispering, "We're going to surprise meeting. Your mom said it's okay." Then she looked straight at the camera, smiled, and led them away. A surprise meeting? This wasn't an act of protection. It was a planned abduction. The officer's expression shifted. The smiles were gone. The report turned from child welfare concern to criminal investigation. They detained her on the spot. And when they searched the van, no booster seats, no ID tags, just snacks, bottled water, and a printed HOA notice of behavior violation with my name on it. That was all the probable cause they needed. By the time night fell, my phone was blowing up. Emails poured in from the HOA board. Apologies, excuses, and resignation letters. One member admitted privately. She was trying to set an example. You refused to remove the soccer goal from your yard. Said it broke the visual harmony of the community. So, she took your kids to make a point. A toy soccer goal. That's what started all of this. Because I didn't bow to her petty rules, she escalated from complaints to revenge. She thought she had the power to punish me by removing the 2 most important people in my life. But she forgot something very important. She wasn't the most powerful woman in the neighborhood. I was. And now, the law was coming for her. I pressed charges the very next morning. There was no hesitation, no second-guessing, no waiting to cool off. Because this wasn't just personal, it was criminal. The woman who had dared to kidnap my children didn't deserve the benefit of time or sympathy. She deserved justice. And that's exactly what she got. The district attorney moved quickly. With overwhelming video evidence, multiple eyewitnesses, and a sworn statement from me. The charges were serious and swift. Attempted parental interference, unlawful restraint, impersonation of a public officer, child endangerment, and premeditated abduction. It didn't take long for the fallout to begin. She lost her real estate license before the week was over. Her name was pulled from the state's licensed business directory, and an ethics investigation was opened into her conduct with previous HOA complaints. She was removed from the HOA board, and after internal pressure from the community and, frankly, the fear of a massive lawsuit, the rest of the board resigned in disgrace. A special vote was held just 3 weeks later to elect an entirely new governing committee. Let me be crystal clear. This wasn't just about one woman. It was about a culture, a mindset, a rotten little pocket of power that believed HOA rules were stronger than human rights. But they learned quickly, some homeowners know the law. Others write it. Where a case finally made it to court, I did not preside over it. I recused myself immediately. I wanted everything by the book. No bias. No personal interference. But when the prosecutor requested I testify, I agreed. And I'll never forget the moment I entered that courtroom. I wore my judge's robe, not out of ego, but because I was coming straight from a federal hearing. My children, Lily and James, sat in the gallery, holding hands, dressed in their best clothes. They were brave, strong, still healing, but there, present, unafraid. I took the stand and described what had happened from my perspective, just the facts. No dramatics, no outbursts, just the cold, clear truth. And when the defense attorney stood to speak, he didn't try to argue innocence, didn't question the facts, didn't even ask the judge for leniency in sentencing. He simply whispered, "My client pleads for mercy." Because what defense can you offer when the entire courtroom has already seen the video? When the whole jury has heard a 7-year-old say, "The lady told us Mommy said it was okay." When the law is not only on your side, but written in your own voice, there's nothing left to say. So let me say this clearly for anyone listening. This wasn't about neighborhood landscaping. This wasn't about a soccer goal. And it wasn't about children playing outside. It was about ego. A woman who thought her clipboard gave her power, who believed she could punish a parent by stealing what that parent loved most. But what she forgot is that some parents aren't just homeowners. Some of us are the law. In a world where power is often misused behind gated fences and fake authority, sometimes justice comes wearing a robe. This wasn't just about a soccer goal or HOA rules. This was about a mother who also happens to be a federal judge, fighting back when her children were taken in the name of neighborhood order. If this story shocked you, imagine how many more go untold. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a story that proves the truth.